Welcome to a Soccer Down Here special report. Time to catch up with the Chattanooga Red Wolves and life in USL League One. We are a week away from the beginnings of a sprint in USL League One. There's talk of omitted opponents, regional rivals, playing them more than twice. It's going to be a sprint. The top two teams make it to determine the champion in 2020. It's always good to catch up with the Red Wolves. Over the next little while, we're going to catch up with midfielder Conor Doyle and get his impressions of what it was like for him to be a part of the Red Wolves and what he is seeing with the team as they get ready for the 2020 season. Also time to catch up with head coach and technical director Jimmy Obleda, who came from California, came from the West Coast, and is now the head coach of the Red Wolves here in 2020. And it's also always good to catch up with Sean McDaniel, who is the president and general manager of the Chattanooga Red Wolves, to kind of get the update on everything and the one-year anniversary of a stadium having broken ground and seeing the development there as well. So, as promised, we'll start things off with the player, midfielder, Conor Doyle.
So Conor, how hectic has media day been?
Considering the fact that we've been sitting in our houses for the last few months and getting back to things, it was definitely different, and it was nice to actually see some media out there and get back to training.
How odd has this been? With all the anticipation, you're getting ready for a season, and everything comes to an abrupt halt. What has this season been like for you professionally with all of the stuff that's gone on with COVID-19?
Yeah, obviously it's like nothing anyone has experienced, I think, within their careers. I think we were a week away from starting, looking forward to that first game, and then all of a sudden, like you said, the abrupt halt in operations, and just now it's basically preseason part 2 and trying to get that sharpness back and everything, and it's slowly coming along, but we're definitely getting there.
What's it like to see that stadium come and be a part of the fabric of Red Wolves and be a part of something from the ground up when you're seeing something being built from the ground up, literally?
Yeah, it's great. You hear a lot of, we're trying to get a stadium approved and all this kind of around the country, but to see it actually come together and being built, and we've started our trainings when we came back, the individual and stuff, we started there. So we've actually been able to kind of see it go from the turf field to the stands being put up and now the seats being put in and the rows being put in. So, I think it's a really cool experience for us to be able to actually see it, like you said, be built from the ground up, basically.
When you have this absence of time and you're pretty much quarantined and you have to look out for yourself, and by doing that, you get to look out for everyone else around you. How much of a challenge is that for an athlete, knowing that you've really got to be extra vigilant about, A, taking care of yourself in an athletic sense, and B, taking care of yourself in a physical sense? How much of a challenge has this last couple of months been like?
Quite a bit. Obviously with everything closing, you can't go to a gym, you can't hop on a treadmill, you can't go lift some weights, so you kind of have to be creative in how you do kind of keep yourself fit, because from the time this thing started, obviously we're still hoping and wishing that the season was going to happen, so you still kind of got to keep yourself in that fitness kind of area of where you want to be coming back. And so the first couple of weeks it was definitely different, but we were able to kind of get stuff together and do team Zoom workouts and things like that, so that definitely helped in terms of keeping us at a certain level.
Who adapted to Zoom the fastest, and who had the most problems in figuring out what Zoom was all about?
Thankfully, none of the players really had to put anything together. It was all the coaches, Kev and Jimmy, putting things together and getting us on there. But surprisingly enough, I would say it did go fairly smoothly every time. We didn't really have too many issues, people on mute or not on mute that shouldn't be, and things like that. So it was actually pretty smooth sailing for the most part in our Zoom calls.
Okay, because, there are guys like me who are 700 years old and have issues trying to figure out, mute, unmute, headset, no headset volume, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it can be a bit of a challenge, and that's why I wanted to ask, who's technologically inclined, who's got issues, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think Jimmy kind of left that to Kevin. So if it did kind of mess up, or if it was successful, you could all kind of put it on Kevin's back and
okay.
leave it at that.
So when you look at the team, I guess, what attracted you to coming to Chattanooga to be a part of something?
Well, to be honest, I kind of never heard of the place. And then when the offer came in and stuff, we kind of talked to our friends where we were living, and they were all just in awe of how cool the city was and how fun of a place it is to be. And so we were like, all right, well, I guess we're going to this really cool city, and it's ended up being that. And, I mean, it's the start of something new. You get to start something from the ground up and be a part of first year ever, and team history and things like that. I've seen the stadium being built. I mean, all those kinds of things were pretty attractive to come here and check it out.
So when you look at how, I mean, with your history being attached to MLS franchises and things like that, and other elements of the pyramid here in the United States, being a part of something here in League One, what's it been like for you to see League One grow and then be a part of it where you're in markets, and here in the southeastern United States specifically, where something has continued to grow and evolve to where you've got franchises, you've got Atlanta United, you've got Nashville SC, you've got Greenville in League One, you've got you guys in League One, you've got Memphis in the championship, you've got Birmingham in the championship. What's it been like to see the footprint grow on a bunch of different fronts?
I mean, it's impressive. I think even if you look at it from a few years back, I don't think you'd have ever thought of them even starting kind of a third division that was actually professional soccer and kind of having those tiers. I think you would have thought they would have just kept it at the two divisions and kind of that be that. But to see it grow into kind of a third division of professional soccer and having more chances to get to play, and then, like you said, with all the teams around this area, I also don't think people would have expected soccer to be as big a deal as it is in this little part of the country, with all the teams and how big Atlanta United is, and for Nashville to now have a team and in MLS, and then, I mean, there's, like you said, 3 teams in Tennessee, and I don't think anyone would have expected, in terms of these areas who are so kind of gung-ho on American football with the colleges and the Falcons, obviously, that they would have the following and the backing that they get from the fans and everything like that. So it's really impressive to me to see their ability to build and grow things within this region.
Conor Doyle, the Chattanooga Red Wolves, hanging out with us for a Soccer Down Here 1v1 and catching up with USL League One coming up just around the corner. When you talk to the guys, when you talk to Coach, what's the expectation for the team this year, knowing it's going to be a different animal? You've got omitted opponents. You've got regional rivalries that will be amplified. You have that one common opponent that you're going to play more than most. Knowing that this is going to be a sprint, what's the expectation level with the guys?
I mean, I think every team always has that expectation that you're going to go in and you're going to be successful, and you have the confidence in yourself and your group that you have a chance to win, or at least be kind of in that top part of the league that goes into playoffs. But without, obviously, the playoff structure for this year, I think, once again, you still have to have that confidence that we can finish in that top 2 and go on to play in a final and play for a championship. And the expectation going into games, it's hard because, I mean, you don't know what to expect. You don't know. I mean, we haven't played a game in however many months, and it's just kind of almost has to be a feeling out process of kind of how the games go, but you don't have much time to do that. Like you said, it's a sprint, so we only have a few games to kind of correct things and hopefully get the train rolling in the right direction.
When you look at the league across the board, I don't know how much studying you've been able to do with all the other franchises that are around, but when you look at teams like Tormenta, who have their academy and they have that Tormenta 2 from USL League 2 that's a part of their growth and their consistency. When you have a place like a Forward Madison that likes to do things with an experience, because they've got guys who have a boatload of experience from their roster, and they've built their team that way. Chattanooga has built their team in the way that it has. When you look at all of these different approaches, obviously, folks going in, they sit there and they're thinking, okay, well, we're going to build our team this way. What's it been like to see Chattanooga being built under a first-year head coach the way that you've seen, just early returns?
Yeah, I mean, I would say we're kind of the mix of those two teams. We have our experience, but we also have our young guys that are hungry and ready to play their kind of first professional games into their second or third years. So, it's just nice to have that mix. I think to be able to have the young guys kind of fall back on us for advice and things like that. And then you also have that young energy to kind of take care of some of the extra running that us old guys can't do quite as much anymore. But no, I like the team. I like the way we've built our team and what we've got. I mean, there's a lot of talent and, like I said, experience and hunger. So definitely excited.
Well, Conor, thanks for hanging out with us here on Media Day. There, as promised, there was going to be no calculus, no European history, none of that stuff. Just wanted to make sure that everybody was catching up with Red Wolves here as we're getting close to the USL League One season. Thanks for hanging out with us here for a 1v1. We'll be keeping an eye on what's going on in Chattanooga, and we will be catching up with you soon. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks to Conor for hanging out with us on the Red Wolves Media Day. Now it's time to catch up with the new guy who is trying to implement a system with the guys that he has in front of him that are going to be a part of USL League One here in 2020. Head coach Jimmy Obleda.
Okay, Coach, first question. What was it like having a media day leading toward a season?
It was pretty exciting, to be honest, because now everything's kind of leaning towards it's getting real. Every day we're out there, it gets a little bit closer to the 18th that we start, and having a media day and having the press and the cameras and all that was pretty just another step forward and another realization that this thing's going to happen.
What's it like to see that stadium take shape?
Oh, wow. I mean, we've been pretty lucky in that we've sat in there and watched it kind of build around us from the turf, and as the seats start going in. It's been pretty impressive just in the work that's going into that, and again, just being a part of it from a soccer standpoint. I don't think there's many times in a player's career, let alone a coach's career, that we can say we're part of something that we're going to something significant as being part of a stadium like that, and what that's going to mean for the city of Chattanooga and East Ridge specifically. So, we sit there, we stand, we work, and we look around, and every day we kind of go, wow, this is pretty amazing, especially when we start training in the morning and just see what we're a part of,
What attracted you to this gig in the first place?
Oh, wow, what attracted me? Well, I mean, first it was an amazing opportunity. I coached in the youth game and the college game for some time. I've been hoping and working towards having an opportunity to coach at a professional level. And fortunate, Mr. Bob Martino and Sean McDaniel, reached out to me, and we met and we talked, and again, just seeing everything that's, again, going back to the previous question of the stadium and everything that the Red Wolves is going to mean to the city of Chattanooga and just the game in general in Tennessee. I mean, I couldn't turn down an opportunity to be a part of it and really hopefully do well and really build a team and a brand here in Chattanooga that's going to be very successful. So, yeah, I couldn't just everything that was being put together from, again, the academy. You can go down the list, all the USL2 teams, just the whole whole vision of what the owner Bob Martino and Sean McDaniel, the GM, have for what they want to do with the Red Wolves. Again, and being able to be a part of it for a first experience, yeah, it was a no-brainer.
When you see what's going on with the stadium construction and the development of the brand and being a part of things in the footprint, whether it's there in Chattanooga or in Dalton, where in Northwest Georgia they are developing a great deal of soccer talent, including high school player of the year. You're in a pocket where the Southeast is truly building a presence in the sport, whether you're looking at Atlanta United and Nashville in Major League Soccer, whether it's Memphis in the USL Championship, Birmingham in the USL Championship, you and Greenville and Tormenta in League One. I mean, right now you're pretty much right in the middle of everything in the growth of the sport in a part of the country that a lot of folks until recently were sitting there didn't think that this might take off to the level that it has.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, again, I feel, I'm very privileged and truly it's an amazing opportunity to be here. Again, being from the West Coast and, the South is not a place from soccer that I heard about, but once I'm here and once I first came here to Chattanooga, when I didn't realize what a crazy soccer town this is, and being more around just hearing and talking, it's no reason. There's no why this part of the country is becoming what it is and growing and having all the success and the growth of the game, because you have people that love the sport and are fanatical about their teams and support their teams. So, again, we couldn't, maybe the best way not to say it, but we couldn't find a better time to be a part of COVID aside. We all couldn't be, especially the people here, couldn't plan to be in a better time in the South with soccer and the growth that it's having in the country.
How much of a challenge has it been for you coming into this gig as a new head coach and having everything put in front of you, whether it's delay or COVID-19? I mean, you've had a lot of challenges in a very short period of time as a head coach. What has it been like for you?
It's been an amazing learning experience. Considering it's my first professional job and want to do as well and be as successful as possible. So, you have to lean on the players. The players have been great. We tried to maintain a focus throughout this whole thing of really thinking big picture that we're going to play. And even when we weren't sure when we were going to play, we kept on saying we were going to play. So for me, it's been, again, just getting the players to really buy in and really see that, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And for me, it's been really learning as I'm going and leaning on people that I respect greatly in this game that have been in the professional level for a long time, that have leaned for just some guidance and support and just direction during this time. So it's one of those things that you learn as you go, but better to learn under fire and under these circumstances. It's just really adapting and seeing what you're made of, you know what I mean? And just figuring it out, and what the players need and what you think the players need, and always leaning. Again, I have a great assistant coach who's been excellent in just kind of seeing what we need to do to adjust every day, because every day was a new day, and every day, even now, every day is a new day. Just recently we were able to have contact, so how do we keep the players motivated prior to that? How do we keep them still getting what we want out of them? So I couldn't have asked for a better learning experience, and the soccer part aside, right? I mean, it's just so much of the other stuff. So it's been learning as we're going.
What is your biggest concern going forward, do you think?
My biggest concern going forward, I think it's two of them. One is hoping that the COVID is some way managed. You know what I mean? And I don't mean from a league standpoint. I don't mean anything. I just mean the virus in a whole, because obviously that's having such an effect throughout the country and individuals and in every sense, and because that will determine a lot of, if the season goes through, right? I mean, we can knock on wood it doesn't happen, but you're seeing what's happening with some of the MLS teams where they're going to, I'm trying to think what the title of the back to play their tournament, and some teams can't go, and guys are getting sick, and so that's probably the most concerning part. Putting that aside, and hopefully that some way we're able to manage it. We're able to control it here in some level in the next few weeks, like everything's changing. But the other part is, players being healthy to play. I mean, they're going to be playing 90-minute games, and players not getting injured. The games are going to be ultra competitive. Guys are dying to get on the field. Teams have been, we haven't had we've had the longest preseason probably in the history of soccer, but we haven't really had a preseason, and we've only been able to have contact the last 2 weeks. So what is that going to look like when we open up the first game on the 18th? And how fit, how are we going to make sure that the players aren't getting injured, aren't pulling anything and stuff. So to me, those are my two biggest concerns. We hope that at least the first one gets taken care of sooner, and I'm sure as the season progresses, the game, fitness, and all that, the health of the player will become more adjusted to the demands of the game. So I'm hoping that for us personally, that we have limit of injuries and keep everyone as healthy as possible from the COVID, but also from injuries.
And at the same time, you're looking at a schedule that's going to be a sprint. You've got the omitted opponent. You've got the regional rival this go around, and 5 subs. What do you think about having 5 subs available?
Well, I mean, I think that's a great thing. I think, again, you just hit it, the regional, the traveling, all the extra. I mean, we're going to be, the way I think it's kind of looking, we'll be playing at some point of the season 3 games a week, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. I think, it's going to be a heavy, heavy load. So having that ability to have, the 5 subs will definitely keep the safety of the players and their health, but also allow for the quality of the quality of the player and the quality of the game to maintain a certain level. So yeah, I think that was a great call from the USL, and I mean the whole rest of the world's doing it, and it's working out for them, and all the teams are using their 5 subs. I mean, I think all the games I've been watching, from the Bundesliga all the way to the Italian leagues, there's very few times, I don't think there's been one that I've seen, that a coach doesn't use all 5 of his subs. So it's going to be a very good, something good to have for us in our games.
Now it's time to catch up with Sean McDaniel, President and General Manager of Chattanooga Red Wolves. And when you go to the website, ChattanoogaRedWolves-SC.com, one of the biggest stories, marking a year since the groundbreaking of CHI Memorial Stadium. If you're driving northbound and you just hop over the Georgia-Tennessee line as you're making your way toward downtown Chattanooga, or if you're exiting and coming into Georgia in and of itself, you get to see something that's being built from scratch right along the side of I-75, and it's really cool to see. So we catch up with Sean about Media Day and CHI Memorial and groundbreakings and getting ready for a sprint in 2020.
Okay, Sean, how is it surviving a Media Day?
Well, it's interesting, John, because for so long the public have been waiting for some sort of messaging from the Red Wolves, from the USL, from professional soccer, what's going on. So to be able to have our local press out at the stadium, of course, socially distanced and wearing masks and following all the processes and protocols, I'd say it went incredibly well, given all the nuances and parameters that now exist with this.
What's it like to continue to see, and this is, I guess, the ongoing progress report in all of this, what's it like to continue to see the stadium come to full song?
Well, I think, that's a great way to say it. As it continues to literally rise up out of the ground, we actually celebrate our 1-year groundbreaking anniversary tomorrow, July 9th. And when you take a couple big steps back, a year ago it was nothing but trees. And to now see this new exciting structure coming up out of the ground right before our eyes and right on the side of I-75, it's a little hard to believe how fast and how great it's come together in such a short period of time. But look, we're going to have people in it. We're going to follow all the rules, as I said, and people are going to be introduced to CHI Memorial Stadium very, very soon.
I asked Brad Estes this question with Lynn Family coming online. I'm going to ask you the same one. Do you have a set of keys?
Yeah. Not yet. I have the code to the lock, but one of the great things about the entire development is just that. It's a footprint of a much bigger planned use, mixed use development, and the stadium's the anchor tenant. So, being able to literally see your office being built right before your eyes, and knowing that so much more is coming is really, really cool.
When you look at the decisions that were made about scheduling and rival opponent, omitted opponent, things like that, obviously it was done with budgeting in mind, but now it's, one opponent's off the board, you play somebody 4 times that's an assigned rival, everybody else gets 2, and it's a sprint now at 20 matches. What do you think?
I think it's probably more than we would have had an appetite for, given how short the season and crunching all those games in such a short period of time. If you're looking at it from a purely soccer and athletic standpoint, it's not ideal. But that said, the work that the USL, the work that the teams, the Board of Governors did to put this together is nothing short of miraculous. And things change daily. So, what was something normal yesterday may not be the case tomorrow. But I think what I've been impressed with the most with all the players on all this is the ability to pivot so quickly, disseminate information, and then get it back out there so we can do our absolute best to safely play soccer.
How big is the Red Wolves manual for engagement, in addition to what the USL has put there for protocols?
It grows every day, and as each day literally goes by, Hamilton County in Chattanooga, where we are, mandated masks in inside and indoor public spaces. Stadiums, as we understand it, because they're outdoor, and we have taken great steps to socially distance people outdoors. The mandate to wear the masks isn't there, although we are going to strongly encourage our fans to bring them, have access to them. We'll be selling them because, in moments like these, you just can't be too careful. But, the team here, the front office of the Red Wolves, has been spectacular. These people have really worked very, very hard at, ingress, egress. Where do people go? Where do fans go? How are we taking care of our customer in these times?
Because, that there are a lot of little things, I think, that anyone who walks into a stadium on a game day or even gets onto a stadium property on a game day has to put into consideration. It's ingress and egress, as you say. It's concessions. What does that look like? Is it packaged material? Is your menu shorter? There are a lot of little things, I think, that folks don't necessarily think about until they're actually on the premises that you guys have had to put thought into for months.
No, it's a good point, and you're exactly right. While we hope things improve sooner than later, the quote overabundance of caution is certainly something we're espousing. And how far people stand apart from each other in line, the hand sanitizer stations, the cleaning of the facilities multiple times during the match. These are all things that did not matter, even a short time ago. So there's some creativity in this to be sure we're doing it right, but there's no precedent for it. But again, I can't compliment our staff and our front office enough to the great effort they've put to make this happen well.
Is there one thing that concerns you more than anything else?
You know, I think from the travel side of it, you know, when we look at having to go to other markets for the players, our trainer, our coaches, our ops person, in and out of airports, in and out of hotbed cities, that's concerning to me, as it would be to anyone who has to travel around. It's just such an unknown thing right now that leaving your market becomes a risk. So, you know, we are following the USL's protocols as put together by the league and the Players Association, where we got to wear masks on the bus, you have to distance on the bus, you have to, you know, you got to take 2 buses when you fly into a market. There's a lot of steps that's being taken to protect our players and our team staff as they travel. That there can be.
And what's it been like to see the players and the team and front office and anybody that has Red Wolves attached to a business card respond and still be a part of the community that we've seen over time?
I think the thing that's been most impressive to me from a community standpoint is not one sponsor has become anxious. They've not questioned, even our season ticket holders. Everybody really is pulled together in a we're in this together kind of mentality. There's nobody trying to create drama, create issues that don't exist. Everybody's been fluid, and the true sense of teamwork from the player all the way through the season ticket holder and sponsor.
Thanks for hanging out with us for the special. To get you updated on Chattanooga Red Wolves SC, once again, reminder, Chattanooga Red Wolves-SC.com for all the news and notes that you need when it comes to the team in and of itself as they're getting ready for action in USL League One here in 2020. Also, don't forget to follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram so you can get all the latest news as well. Other news, 22 Red Wolves seniors committed to playing in college, so good news on the academy front for the Red Wolves and all of their fans and the parents and all the kids. They get to go to the next level too, so that's good stuff there. Seniors committing to play college soccer, very, very cool. So for Connor, for Coach, for Sean, I'm just John. Play it safe, everybody. USL League One will be here before you know it.